Welcome to another episode of Mythic Drafting, where today we have opened up an awesome Mythic rare in Invasion of New Phyrexia. This is one of the best cards in the set. X white and a blue for a battle with 6 defenders, but when it enters the battlefield, you create X 2/2 white and blue knight creature tokens with vigilance. This card is absurd at all stages of the game. Even if you only cast it for 5, you get 3 2/2s. If you cast it for 6, you get 4 of them, and so on, so on. And if you do manage to flip this, you get Teferi, a Koza of Zalfir, which I'm not going to have time to just go through at this point, but super sweet Planeswalker. It draws you cards, you can pump your knights, and you can tap X untapped creatures you control to shuffle non-land permanents back into the opponent's deck. So this is certainly a slam dunk pick. The next best card in the pack, I think, is probably Final Flourish to first pick, followed by Sandstalker Moloch. There's also Stormclaw Rager, and I like the dual land as well as the Etherblade Agent. But we are taking Invasion of New Phyrexia, and we are absolutely thrilled with it. So now we have an interesting choice, some interesting choices here. Deadly Derision, Nezumi Radiant Fulminant good in black. Kenra Spell Spear is awesome in red, and Tandem Takedown is fantastic in green. There's also an Artistic Refusal and an Nefari's Dispersal. I'm a huge fan of the Refusal. I think this card is really strong, especially in blue-white Convoke decks. Like, the blue-white deck also sort of acts as a Knights and a Convoke deck, just because it has so many bodies. And already having Invasion of New Phyrexia, I can lean towards a little bit of a control build. These cards also both tend to wheel sometimes, which is pretty insane. I don't think either of them should wheel, but there's a chance we get the Dispersal back or the Cleansing, which would also be great in this deck. So some really strong cards in this pack, but certainly taking the Refusal here. Pick 2. And now we follow up with another pack, a bit weaker this time. There's a Herbology Instructor, there's a Volcanic Spite, Invasion of Regatha, Nezumi Informant, as well as some weaker, there's Attentive Skywarden, as well as Zalfarin Shapecraft. I think the best card in the pack is just the Volcanic Spite. Probably there's also a Moti, which is quite strong as well. We could be like green-blue splashing this. We can always splash Invasion of New Phyrexia. I think my preference is to just be blue-white, but we're not taking these weaker cards here. I think I'm just going to take the Volcanic Spite over the Moti. I'm happy to play some kind of like blue-red control shell that splashes white for the invasion, and it's just a cheaper card and a removal spell, so happy to take it there over the Moti. Now I've got a Realmbreaker's Grasp, as well as a Rail's Reinforcements, and Invasion of New Capenna is a card I like as well, but just because we've taken the Spite, it doesn't mean that we're into red, and Realmbreaker's Grasp, while it doesn't perform as well as Pacifism in other sets, it's still a good card. We can still lean towards blue-white, and I think it's the pick here over. This is probably the most powerful card, and then Rail's Reinforcements for the blue-red Convoke deck is very strong as well, but I think we still want to just lean towards a blue-white deck. And now we're going to take Tetsuko Mizawa Fugitive. I've been really impressed with this card in the format so far. Really like it. There's Invasion of Lorns, probably the best card in the pack. There's also a Hanger Scrounger. Chomping Carver is fine. Flywheel Racer. Oracle of Tragedy is fine. Ocular Swap I haven't been too impressed with. But this is a good defensive creature that can also, especially if you get it early in the draft, you can turn it into... you can sort of draft around it in a way that you can prioritize creatures with 1 power or toughness. And now this is a pack that we're looking for. It looks like blue-white is very open. There's Invasion of Xerix and Preening Champion, both of which are fantastic cards, but Xerix Strobe Knight has really impressed me. 2 mana 2/2 Flying Vigilance, and when you cast 2 spells in a turn, you can tap it to create a knight. There's potentially an argument that Preening Champion's better than it because it just creates the bodies, but in blue-white I think the knight is relevant. I hate that we're passing these cards so late, but here I think we just have to take it and hope that our opponent doesn't jump in to blue on our left. Now, another great sign with Artistic Refusal, pick 7. This is just, I think, way too late here. It's just such a strong card. I'm happy to play 2 if you have a lot of creatures early to play out and make this cheaper. The fact that you get to counter that spell and then draw 2 and discard 1 is just absolutely bonkers. So very happy to pick that one up here. Now we have Unseal the Necropolis, have Wildwood Escort. I don't think we're going to play any of these cards. The only card I mean, Lithomantic Barrage can be fine, but it's more of a best of 3 card. And if it was best of 3, I would certainly take it here. I don't really love Shapecraft, and I don't love any of these other red cards either. If we open some ridiculous, black rare, there's a small percentage chance that we actually move into this here. Now we've got a choice between Angelic Intervention, Tidal Terror, and the tap land here. I'm just going to take Angelic Intervention. I think this card is pretty underrated. It gives the creature or planeswalker you control protection from a color or colorless until end of turn, and then it gives the creature a +1/+1 counter. It's just cheap, and wow, Athara's Dispersal. I mean, this is not correct. This card should not wheel. It is the second best blue common. Should have been taken over the Temporal Cleansing, but we are stoked to wheel it here. Yes, as I was saying, this card is just very cheap and efficient. It can stonewall some of the more expensive removal spells in the format. It's just a fantastic option there to get. So now I'm just picking up some of these late black cards. Again, we're not thinking that we're going to play any of them. However, if we were to open like a Hoarding Broodlord or something absolutely ridiculous, there is an option then to take it and play. Don't think we're playing the Cyber's Cryptomancer. Aerial Boost is actually fine as well in the blue-white deck. So now, so if we had opened like a Hoarding Broodlord, a Sheoldred, or some ridiculous black rare, we could have taken it and had the Nezumi Informant, had the Unseal and Necropolis, and then, we're not playing the Tenured Oilcaster, and then moved in and looked to splash or play some kind of 3-color deck. We've opened Quintorius Lawmaster, another card we could splash, but this card I don't think is one that we want to just splash red 4 and commit to splashing red 4, especially when there's an Athara's Dispersal in the pack, which I think is going to be the pick over the 3rd Artistic Refusal. I don't think it's likely we want to play 3 of them, unless we get an insane amount of Convoke. And this is just going to allow us to extend the game out while we get to our Invasion of New Phyrexia. Blue-White Duel, which we'd love to wheel. Really like Phyrexian Awakening, and I like Cut Short as well, but can't take any of these cards over the premium blue-white common in Printing Champion. It's a slam dunk pick here. Hopefully we'll wheel the Tranquil Cove or the Order of the Mirror. We don't have any real blue-white knight effects here. Oh, no, okay. So now there is the Hoarding Broodlord here. So it's actually pretty funny. Pick 3, I think, sort of enough of a sign here that I'm willing to move in. We don't, really, the Intervention is good in a blue-white aggressive deck. Aerial Boost is good in a blue-white aggressive deck, but there's nothing really here for us. There's the red-white duel, Infected Defector, Tidal Terror. These cards are all fine, but nothing has the upside of Hoarding Broodlord here. We can convoke it in a blue-black deck and then go and get Invasion of New Phyrexia, or we can go and get a land to cast it. It's just such a strong card. We've already got some black cards to flex into it. It really ups the power level of our deck as well. Speaking of cards to up the power level of our deck, Atrice Oracle of Half-Truths. If you've seen one of my other drafts, I have this card in it, and it is absurd. 4 mana, 3/2 menace. When it enters the battlefield, it's like a mini Factual Fiction, but they get to put the cards into a face-down pile and a face-up pile. You effectively just draw 2, because you're basically always going to take the 2-card pile unlimited. So now I think this is a pretty clear signal that blue and black is open, and I think we're just going to move right in here. Probably going to look to cut. I don't think we're going to play this red card, but I think we can just hold it here in case, as a reminder, if we see any blue-red or black-red dual lands. Now the picks between Expedition Lookout and Oracle of Tragedy. I think here we don't have any self-mill yet, and so Oracle Tragedy is going to be better in terms of getting us to our bombs, and also it's unblockable with Tsuzuko. Final Flourish pick 6 is absurd. We're just definitely meant to be in Definitely meant to be in blue-black here. And I think we can probably cut all of these white cards except for the Invasion of New Phyrexia. Now, there's two good blue cards here, but I think we just take Skittering Surveyor. It's a body for Hoarding Broodlord. It fixes us for Invasion of New Phyrexia. We just want to be able to cast our really powerful spells, and I think we already had enough card advantage with Artistic Refusal and Hoarding Broodlord that we can afford to take the Skittering Surveyor here. Now there's an Invasion of Kaladesh. There's another Unseal and Acropolis. I think we're just going to take Expedition Lookout. I certainly don't think it's guaranteed to make our deck here, but wow, so the Artistic Refusal wheeled again. I think here we actually just take it. I'm not sure if we'll play 3, but I'm not a huge fan of the Freewheeler. And this card's just so strong. So let's just take a look. I don't think we're playing the Expedition Lookout here at our removal. It's a bit clunky. We've just got a Final Flourish and 2 Dispersals, but we've got the triple Artistic Refusal. So I'd love to pick up some more removal, and I think that's something we're going to need to prioritize in the last pack. You know, if we get some late dual lands, we can, you know, take them and potentially splash the Spite, but I'm not really interested in that. Wheeled the white dual land here, which is a really good one for us to wheel. Also wheel this Land Cycler, another fantastic one. So now we've got 1, 2 free sources effectively for Invasion. Hoarding Broodlord as well can go and get a land if we really need to. And we're going to be pretty easily able to play this blue-black control deck, splashing the Invasion of New Phyrexia. Really like the way this draft has gone. Certainly felt like we were meant to be in blue in the first pack and then hedging between white and black and picking up those late black cards there. I don't think we're ever playing Oculus Whelp, but I'll just take it in case somebody, you know, randomly moved into blue there. I think actually we take Corrupted Conviction here. There's a small chance if we pick up enough of the rats and the surveyors that the card actually becomes quite good in the deck. Yeah, so that was a testament, I think, to staying open and making sure that you're not locking yourself in. And in the later the pack, picking up this Unseal, the Nezumi, kept us open to black and made Hoarding Broodlord a possibility. And then getting the Atrice just sealed us in, and we moved out of these weaker white cards that really the only one we picked up was Realmbreaker's Grasp, pick 3, I think, and it's still early enough that it's not really a signal. So now we've got to pick between Halo Forager and Pylon. I think we just take the Pylon simply because we need the removal. And we might actually wheel the Halo Forager. So I think it's a close pick, pack 1, but given we need the removal desperately, and we may wheel the Halo Forager, I'm very happy to pick that up there. So now just doing some rearranging, but we have been past one of the best uncommons in the set. Invasion of Amonkhet is simply busted. You mill them 3, both of you 3, you draw a card, they discard a card, and if you ever flip this thing, it's just a clone of the best creature in any graveyard. So absolute slam dunk, best card we could get past there. Very, very happy to pick that one up. Now we're seeing some strong green cards, but there's a wonderful Skyclave Aerialist. It's a 2/1 flyer here. Unblockable with Tsuko. Can flip into a 2/4 and get us another card. Very happy to pick this up. Get some more early curve down in our deck. So now we have not a whole lot for us. There's a Timberland Ancient, Ozolith, a lot of green flowing through. Another Volcanic Spite, but we're just going to take Etherblade Agent as a 1/1 Death Touch. Unblockable for us with Tsuko, and in the late game, if you flip this thing, it becomes a 3/3 that threatens to draw you a card if it ever hits them. Now I think I'm going to pick the Nezumi Freewheeler. Haven't been super impressed with this card, but it can get back, you know, the Aerialist, the Etherblade Agents, Tsuko, Oracle of Tragedy. And we're just sort of lacking that 4-drop slot in that curve. So happy to pick that one up. Definitely cutting Volcanic Spite here. Wow, so 6-pick Phyrexian Gargantua. Going to take that one here. I think we're probably going to cut the Corrupted Conviction. Got to make one cut at this point. think potentially I think we want to cut one of the refusals. We really don't want to draw 3 of them. It's just very awkward, very clunky. We've got Gargantua and we've got Hoarding Broodlord as well as Invasion of New Phyrexia. So I think we can cut one of them. I'm going to take the Eyes of Gitaxias here, which is a card I potentially want to play over the Nezumi Freewheeler. And now it's a question between Invasion of Vryn and Meeting of the Minds. I think we just want... This deck wants Meeting of the Minds, actually, I think. We can cut the Eyes of the Gitaxias. Because we have Dispersals, we have Final Flourish. I think we can probably cut this Corrupted Conviction. Not sure what the last cut will be, but... Well, okay, so Halo Forager wheels as well. So we've got a couple of cuts to make now. I think Oracle of Tragedy can probably come out. It's just not really doing what we want in the deck. And we've got 4 other 1-drops here. So Omen Hawker we're not going to play. I think Printing Champion. We have a few things that work quite well with the Conviction. It also protects us against removal. Meeting of the Minds is good because if you pass and you have Artistic Refusal up, if you've got a Meeting of the Minds, you can just cast it. I think we've got enough card advantage here that the Corrupted Conviction we probably don't need, and it's a little bit more situational and not as solid as and consistent as the Meeting of the Minds is. So that was the draft. I'll have a little tinker with the deck and I'll show you that before we dive into game 1. Alrighty, so this is the final deck I've settled on. Cut the Oracle of Tragedy as well as one of the Artistic Refusals. We're not playing the Corrupted Conviction or the Eyes of Gitaxias. So I've got a pretty decent curve here. A few 2s, the Island Cycler, some 3s, some 4s, and then a little bit of top end here. And then choosing to play 9 swamps, 7 blue sources, given we have the Island Cycler and we have the triple black here. Not a ton of early black creatures either, so just want to be able to consistently cast the Broodlord, and you know we're going to have Printing Champion to help cast Artistic Refusal, and we've got some quasi removal here, some real removal here, and then a little bit of card advantage. So I'm pretty happy with this deck, and let's see how it plays out. Alrighty, here for game number 1, and we have a keeper. We've got on the draw Aerialist, Strobe Knight, and we've got all of our lands now. This is a sweet one. We can potentially double spell if we hit another 2-drop here. An opponent doesn't have a 2-mana play unless they've got the counter spell. We're just going to run out the 2-1 here. So now next turn we can play Xeric Strobe Knight, play Etherblade Agent. Then we're actually going to be able to Meeting of the Minds, make a 2-2 as well. If they don't play anything here, or we can just do this as well. So let's get in an attack first. Opponent doesn't have the turn 3 play. Looks like they have something though, but we're just going to be mana efficient here. Oh, we get it down. I think they probably have Vanquish the Weak. No, it's Safari's Dispersal. So that's fine. I mean, it's still good, but this card is so much better when you're already, on the board. Like, you want to be on the board, playing it for 1 mana, being efficient. When it's just a 3 mana first play, and then they're playing, Flywheel Racer, it's not as big of a deal. So now the question is, do we want to Nezumi Informant and Etherblade Agent them? I think the answer is we just want to play this again, because we can just do it next turn and we get the Knight out of it as well. And if we play this, if we draw a land as well, we can go Nezumi Informant, Etherblade Agent. So now we can just, I think we just lead with the Nezumi Informant here. Get a card out of their hand. And then we just want to attack with just the Strobe Knight, I think. Because we can play the Agent, create a 2-2, and then we have 4 mana up for Meeting of the Minds on their end step. So they discarded, they put Artistic Refusal in the graveyard with Dispersal. So get in with the 2-2 here, ping them for 2, play Etherblade Agent, make a 2-2. Opponent thinks that's nice. Wait until they see our Meeting of Minds on their end step. They will not be happy. These are things, I mean, that just happen in Magic sometimes. You're just not always going to hit your lands. And, you know, it can be really frustrating at times, but you're going to win the games like this. Like, I'm going to have games where I don't draw my lands, and then I'm just going to have games like this where my opponent doesn't draw my lands. And if you play enough, statistically over time, it should balance out. So now we can Hoarding Broodlord here for 8. We can just do it. So I think, yeah, we're just going to want to bash in the air and then play Hoarding Broodlord and get our Invasion of New Phyrexia. So that seems pretty good. Hoarding Broodlord is such an absurd Magic card. It is just absolutely ridiculous. We want to tap this one down because we don't want to block in the air. So Hoarding Broodlord comes down. I've got lethal, but I want to go and get... I want to live the dream. I want to use my I want to use my Broodlord to fetch my ridiculous Mythic Rare. That's the game we don't get to cast it. I'll see you for game 2. Alrighty, game number 2. Pretty similar hand here. We're on the play. Only a 2-lander with Unseal, but if we just draw 1 land, this hand's pretty good with Skyclave Aerialist into Printing Champion into Pylon. So I think it's worth a risk there. Certainly, and we've also got Final Flourish for as a play if we don't draw a land. Certainly really want to draw a land, but not going to be the case here. We're just going to have to be on the other side now. Like last game we were saying, you know, you're going to get some wins where your opponent effectively, you know, it's a loss that a win that they can't avoid, and we're going to have losses we can't avoid, and potentially we could have avoided if we mulliganed. But I think here the question is, do we just kill this? I think I just want to. If we hit our land this turn, we're going to be pretty consistently playing spells. So there's the land. That's fantastic. Now we can play Printing Champion. We're going to have some flyers in the air. We're going to have enough to hold up Artistic Refusal next turn as well. So that's definitely a good one. Oh, and also, silly me, Final Flourish is fantastic on Bloated Processor because it only it takes it down to 1 power. So that was really good. Now we have a choice. We can play the Swamp, and then we can hold up Artistic Refusal if we just attack with the Skyclave Aerialist. I think we're pretty happy to do that here. Because next turn we can play Skittering Surveyor, and then we can just hold everyone up as well. But, you know, we're probably going to counter almost anything they play here. They might think we also have nothing. So a good creature has +1/+1 in Vigilance. You can equip for 1. I think we can just let that one resolve here. We can just pile on an end step as well if we want to. Like if they don't play anything else this turn, we'll take a hit. Oh, so they get to tap that. Potentially should have. Now I'm just going to pile on because we're going to do that regardless. We don't want to take the hit here. So they have the intervention. Okay. That was really good for the opponent. Absolutely. Potentially we should have Artistic Refusal there, but now we're just racing, I think. They're going to attack us, but we're just going to have to get in here, I think. Say go. Again, far out. They can just tap this and turn us off refusal. Recording this a little bit late at night, so just potentially not playing as well as I probably should be here, but I think if they do attack, we may just refusal to draw, which is not ideal. Or we can unseal the Necropolis, but wow, they've gone for it. This is fantastic for us. I think it was a pretty telegraphed Artistic Refusal. An opponent pretty reasonably could have played around that. Nezumi Freewheeler here doesn't do a ton. Neither does the land. So I think we just pitch the land. Then we can Skittering Surveyor for a plains and Skittering Surveyor for a plains and Unseal the Necropolis. Land would have done a ton because we would have been able to play Phyrexian Gargantua. Let's go ahead and get our plains. And I think here, get the plains, play the plains, and then we're going to attack in the air. I'm going to leave back 2 blockers here because we want to be able to chump. We don't want to go to 5. So we want to chump, preferably with the Surveyor, because then we can guarantee that we at least get 1 creature back with Unseal. Bit awkward if we were to, you know, Unseal the Necropolis and miss. So hopefully they tap our 1/1 here. Probably will to try and get us. No, they're going to tap the Surveyor. Okay, so we're going to do this. See what the opponent plays here. Seal from Existence. So they're going to probably seal the 2/1. And now Phyrexian Censor. So let's go ahead and unseal. Hit absolutely nothing. So we don't get anything. We've just milled the best card in our deck as well. So let's play out Phyrexian Gargantua. Meeting of the Minds is good. Dispersal is also good. We can take 1 hit here. We can only cast 1 spell a turn. So if they attack and tap this down, if they just have any removal spell in hand, we're just dead. So I think we can't attack here. It just leaves us dead to a removal spell. Next turn we can play Freewheeler. Actually, I think we just play Xeric Strobe Knight and hold up Dispersal. I'm going to tap that. We are going to Snap Block. They've got their own Gargantua. Wow, okay. So now I've got the Rat. But I think here we're going to want to play out the Strobe Knight. It comes into play tapped, but this does give us lethal next turn if they make some kind of mistake. So let's pass the turn, see how they attack. We're probably going to trade Sculpted Perfection. Okay, so that's the only Phyrexian card they can cast this turn. To transform that, I tap that down. And now we have to chump here. This is really awkward. We have to chump the 5/5 and then bounce. I think we have to bounce the Phyrexian Gargantua because it leaves them dead if they played this again. So chump here, we take 6 down to 2. I'm going to hit them for 2 in the air. Oh, actually, no, sorry. We chump the 5/5 and we kill them on a crackback because we're going to bounce their Bowler Slinger. That's a much, much better line. So let's go ahead and bounce that. And then we will take the Atris, put that in the bin. And now we just kill them on the crackback. Don't know how it took me so long to see that. Unless they have another land, but they don't. Good game, opponent. That's game number 2. I'll see you for the next one. Alrighty, back for game number 3. Here we have an interesting one. It's such a sweet hand if we draw 1 swamp. We have 9 sources. We're on the draw and the opponent's taken a mulligan. So I think here, let's go ahead and keep this. It's on the riskier side of the keep. But we can island cycle to cast the Strobe Knight. If we just hit S Swamp at all, we are absolutely on. Also with the Printing Champion, I think if we don't draw land this turn, we're just going to go ahead and island cycle on that end step. So let's end the turn there. Opponent's got their own Printing Champion. We'll island cycle in response. Really want to hit a black source here, naturally. Unseal the Necropolis. Wow, that was on top before we shuffled. So now, let's go ahead and Printing Champion. We'd happily take the trade here. Gonna need to really draw a black source in order to get online here. Definitely a riskier keep. Potential given the opponent who mulliganed, we should have mulligan, but as well to try and guarantee the black source. But with 9 sources, 10 sources including Skittering Surveyor in the deck, you know, we've seen 4 cards now and haven't hit. So I think we just block here. Happy to take the trade because we've got the Unsealed Necropolis. Invasion of Bellinon from the opponent. Fara's Dispersal is a good one. I'm going to get to kill that. The question is, do we want... I think we just want to play the Strobe Knight out. We can get to play this for 1 mana on another turn. So if like we draw a swamp, we can go Invasion of Amonkhet and play and bounce the 2/2. So no blocks here. They have gone Planescycling, so we're not far behind at all. As long as we can hit a swamp in the next few turns, that is a massive problem. So now they're just dumping. Now we are pretty far behind. There's the swamp. Okay, excellent. So now the question is, do we want to play Invasion of Amonkhet? I think the answer is hell yes, because we get to flip this in 2 turns with our flyer, and we get to turn it into something that exiles them. So, oh, and we get to discard that. We get to discard the Talia. So that's absolutely absurd. Yeah, Talia, the Gitrog monster, is a first strike Death Toucher. You can play an additional land on each of your turns. Creature and on basics your opponent controls enter the battlefield. Whenever it attacks, you sacrifice a creature or land, then you draw a card. So that is what our Invasion of Amonkhet is going to enter the battlefield as. They're going to transform here. We still have Dispersal up as well. So a bit of a risky keep, but the upside was there in the hand, and given we knew that they'd taken a mulligan, we probably felt like we had enough time to get there. They've transformed. They're going to attack, I think, with the team. And they get to give creatures they control +1/+1. So they are attacking us with the 2/2s. And they're attacking that with that. So, okay, that makes things easy for us. We don't even have to think. They're not going to get to flip this. Meeting of the Minds is a good one. Swamp is a good one as well. I think we're pretty happy with them in that order. We're going to take 4 here. We're going to get to cast 2 spells this turn as well. So let's start things off here by flipping the Invasion. Oh. Fara's Dispersal off the top for opponent is a sweet one. That resolves. So now what are our plays? We can play out, you know, there's nothing really in there we want to go and get. We don't have anything in there either. I think we're just going to play Strobe Knight and play Etherblade Agent. So at least if they want to flip this, we can, you know, kill one of them. And then we can just make the same play next turn. So that seems pretty good. We can also chump here to prevent them from flipping this if we want. Like we can block here, chump here. Or if they attack with all, we can just trade the 1/1. So yeah, now we just block this. This thing has trample. So let's just chump. I want to kill this. Don't want them to flip this. Pretty happy with that. If they've top decked something, fine. But Now they're going to play their Dune Shaper and likely going to flip it. If they do that, we just get to flip and get Talia. They get Yorion. They're going to get another 2-2. Reset that. Well, opponent has run pretty well there. So we are going to Halo Forager in order to get our dispersal. I'm going to pay X, pay 3 to bounce their Yorion, because that thing is a huge problem. And we just need to flip here. So now we're binning this. I think we're really just looking for anything that can kill Yorion at this point. And so we're just binning anything that's not our most powerful cards. Now we go to combat. We're going to flip this. I'm going to have it enter the battlefield as I'm pretty certain it's going to be Talia here. This card is insane. Make a 2-2. Say go. Opponent can play Yorion. It'll enter the battlefield tapped. We get to hit them for 5. Get to attack with Talia as well. Wish this thing had Vigilance. Skittering Surveyor is not it. I think we just want to play out Gargantua. See what we draw here. Artistic Refusal. Okay. So I think now we want to get in with these two. And then we can play. The question is, do we want to get in with Talia here? Or do we want to play Media of the Minds? I think we really just want to... We really want... Oh, we could have actually gone with Talia, of course, because this thing has Vigilance. Bugger. I think we just say go. I think we really want to draw... There's also an argument there we should have just attacked with just the Strobe Knight and held up the Artistic Refusal. Probably the better line. So we don't have any blocks for that. I'm not particularly worried about this Dune Shaper. I am not happy with that. So, I mean, it's just a 0-5 at this point, but still not good. Let's go ahead and meet some minds, but we should have been able to counter this 0-5 here and draw. So now Atris can play the land. I think we just want to go ahead and lead with the Atris here. We have 1-2 black creatures, so if they give us Hoarding Broodlord there, that's fine. So now opponent is going to play a little game. We're still getting to hit them for 5 in the air. So wow, pile 1. I think here we actually take pile 2. We just take the 1 card. Yeah, okay, so that was Dispersal and... But now we get to kill... we get to kill the Yorion. So now we get to attack with a little Gitrog. Get to attack with our 2-2. And we're going to get to sack a land to draw a card. Sacrifice a swamp. There's Tetsuko. They block with Talia. They trade there. That is all fine. And here I think we cast Tetsuko. We're going to make a knight. And then we're going to sacrifice the knight to take out this big old Yorion. Goodbye, my friend. Not super fast if they flip this. I mean, they are just super dead if they attack out here in a way that flips this. So they're going to flip that. We've got a 1-5. That means that we'll get to flip this. So they're not super dead, but they've spent all their mana doing this. And it's not really like affecting too much given we have Talia. This is unblockable. Halo Forager is also unblockable. They'll have double refusal now. So now I think let's play our little Ratman, and we will just attack with the unblockable creatures here and pass with Artistic Refusal up. Not the most eloquently played or perfectively played game, but when you have a deck this powerful and you have this much of an advantage over most of your opponents due to double refusal, good removal, Xeric Strobe Knight, Forager, Invasion of Amonkhet, it's not easy, but you can make some mistakes and still win the game by just sheer power of your cards. This opponent's probably going to just say go here. Don't know what this card is in hand, but whatever it is, I'm certainly not making the mistake of not countering it. So they're going to scroll shift that, and we are going to say no to our opponent. Draw some lands, ditch a land, and that's the game. That's game number 3, and I'll see you for the next one. Alrighty, on to the next one. And we have another keeper here with 2-drop, 3-drop, and 4-drop. We just need to hit 1 land to be able to go and get our planes for invasion. But Nezumi and Setsuko, good little combination here. And Atris is just probably one of the better cards in our deck. So now I think we go ahead and just Nezumi Informant early. It's potential that it's more disruptive later, but I like to just get the card out and make the opponent, they have to make that decision with more limited information. They don't see what we've played out and know what cards they potentially need. So now I think we can go ahead and just cast Setsuko in order to be able to hold up Dispersal. Just go ahead and also start getting in for damage here. There's every chance that the opponent plays a battle, and Skittering Surveyor is a little bit awkward there with the trample, and they might be able to flip it, and so having the Dispersal up's pretty good there. And yeah, so they've got the battle here. So that Invasion of Tarkirian. So really good that we held up here, because now we can just bounce this away. Surveil 2 as well. And the huge tempo swing here, because... So I'm going to go ahead and draw the Unseal the Necropolis. Put the island on top. But yeah, big tempo swing because the opponent can't replay that creature here. So we get to just go ahead and get in with Setsuko. Now we get to play Atris, and here I think we'll basically take the 2-card pile no matter what. It's pretty rare that you want to take the 1-card pile. Like if they put Invasion of New Phyrexia on top, then we might take that instead. Or like Hoarding Broodlord potentially, because we can go Skittering Surveyor. But yeah, like here they could just be trying to wig us out. So I'm pretty happy to just take the 2-card pile. Like we could have had Artistic Refusal, but in this situation I think that the Meeting of the Minds is very solid. So, and now Invasion of Amonkhet here. We're just going to go ahead and cast that. Mill everyone for 3. Invasion of New Phyrexia is a bit of a bummer, but they have to discard. We get to draw, and we're going to get to draw 2 off the Meeting of the Minds as well. So, discard Swamp. We can force the trade here. I think I do that because we can just get it back with Unseal and Necropolis, although it means we can't cast Meeting of the Minds. So I'd actually just rather pass. If they attack, we can Meeting of the Minds and block as well. I think here, like, it's likely that opponent is on a very aggressive deck here. We're not going to want to block, so let's just go ahead and Convoke. So Dispersal's a really good draw here. So yeah, they get to get in, swing in here to get the battle. Yeah, Dispersal's a great draw. So we're going to want to, let's see, we can go and get Nezumi Informant and Atris here. I think that's what we want to do, because we can play the Informant as well, and then Dispersal there. Yeah, so now we get Broodlord. We get Nezumi Informant. Play out the land. Play out the Nezumi. The Nezumi Informant holding up mana for the Dispersal. And we're going to go ahead and get in for one here. Just getting opponent's hand right down. And then next turn we can go ahead and cast the Hoarding Broodlord as well. Not going to let the opponent flip their battle here. Both of these can go in the bin. Opponent clearly a little bit upset that we've got the Dispersals. And they've got Baral and Karl Zev. Oh, so the Artistic Refusal's an interesting draw there. But I think we could just cast... I think we just want to cast the Hoarding Broodlord. It's a little bit awkward though because they get to flip the Defiant Thundermaw. So we have Invasion of Amonkhet gets to come in as anything here. We can bring it in as the Storm Sculptor when we flip this next turn. Our other option is to just play the Surveyor and the Strobe Knight and hold Refusal. Oh, we could actually just counter this when they cast the backside and then follow up with this. So I think I like that line a little bit better. The Strobe Knight, yeah, we can just say go here. Hold up Refusal. They get to attack, flip into the dragon, and then we counter the dragon when they have to cast it. And we can get rid of our Surveyor. And then we play the Broodlord. We only have to tap one creature, so I think I like this line. So yeah, they can go ahead and flip the battle. We have no blocks, but we will counter it. It's going to Artistic Refusal that. Draw a bunch of cards with the Refusal, which is... This is probably my favourite card in the set, I think. You know, at Uncommon, just a ridiculous card. And certainly the way I like to play Magic. So Final Flourish is a fantastic one here. We can go ahead and flip the battle. Cast this. We want to bring it in as a Triss. Draw some more cards. It's also got Menace. I'm getting a little bit low, 9 cards in deck, so definitely need to close this one out pretty quickly. So we're going to get the Broodlord down to take care of that. But with Pile and Final Flourish, Tidal Terror, don't think we're at particular risk of not being able to close this game out. I'm going to take the double card pile here. So we can cast Printing Champion and still cast the Broodlord. So let's go ahead and just get as many flyers down as we can. So we want to cast the Broodlord, but doing it with everyone except the Strobe Knight. Because then we can cast a 2/2. Go ahead and get Halo Forager here. Make a 2/2 token. And then we're able to clear the board with the removal spells and bash for the team. So we'd do 4, 8, 10, 11, 18. We've got lethal. So I think we just go ahead and Final Flourish the Frontliner and pile on the Baral and Karazev and swing out for the win here. Not sure what opponent can have in blue-red. Maybe like Shatter the Source, Dispersal is fine, but we're still just going to get in with The team can't put any cards in the graveyard here, as we've just only got 4 cards left in our library, so a little bit too close for comfort. Create another knight, do a bunch of damage. We're at 21, say go, and that should hopefully do it. I don't think there's much here that opponent can do. That's the win. I'll see you for the next one. Alrighty, back for the next one here. Game 5, we're 4-0. And we're going to keep this hand. Like, I don't think you can really be mulliganing 4 lands and a Tsutsuko removal spell and some good card advantage here. But Artistic Refusal is a great one to draw. So Swordsworn Knight, probably just going to kill that. Although let's just wait and see what opponent plays. If they have like a backup creature here, they might play they put the counter on it, and we can get them at least a little bit here. Okay, so let's go ahead and kill this in response. So one of the only ways I think we sort of lose these matches is to just a really fast start. So taking out the 3-1 there and not taking the 3 damage and then taking 6 this turn is certainly for the best. So I just don't want to get run over and before we can cast all of our powerful card advantage and spells. Guardian of Galpia, another really good one here. So opponent's got a sweet one here, and I mean that's to be expected, I guess, with them probably being in the 4-0 bracket as well. So now I'm going to have to go ahead and cast Meeting of the Minds. Taking 6 here to 11. So we're under a lot of pressure. Hoarding Broodlord's going to have to do some work. This game, Kenra Spellspear is a massive problem. I think it's pretty likely we're going to lose this one. There's actual potential we should have just cast the Meeting of the Minds in there in case we drew a Dispersal. Halo Forager though is a good one. We can use it to sack the Tsutsuko to kill the Zalfir and lands. And then we can block the 3-3 here. So that's a start. So we're going to go ahead and get in for 1 here because we're going to sacrifice the Tsutsuko anyway. So take action. We pay 2. Pay this with Kicker. Take out the 3-3. And sack this. And then Halo Forager can trade for the flyer. This thing's still probably going to kill us, but at least we're in a slightly better situation. I think it's also very likely the opponent has a removal spell here to clear the way and hit us for 8 if they have any non-creature spell. Yeah, so we're basically a lock to lose this game now. But at 4-1, I think that's pretty good. You're just going to get run out by draws like that. And that's the game. I'll see you for the next one. Alrighty, game number 6 with another keeper here. Unseal, Perennial Champion, Dispersal and Pylon on the play, sorry. Really, really solid hand. Yeah, that last one was just a bit unlucky. I think like not having the early plays and them having a really nice curve. It's just a bit of a mismatch, I think, there, unless we draw Invasion of New Phyrexia. But it certainly shows that like, aggressive tempo decks are really possible and viable in this format. So now we can go ahead and just play Tsutsuko, and that means we can get in with all of our creatures because the 1/1's unblockable, and we can block with Tsutsuko and then Dispersal this Knight token if they have anything to sort of blow us out in combat. Also got Unseal and Pylon here. So Realmbreaker's Grasp. We're just going to snap block here. They might have aerial boost here, so yeah, passive damage, that is fine. So now we can pile on because, but I think we want to do that. I think we just want to say go. And then we can cast 2 spells on their end step. It's also possible we just want to dispersal back our printing champion. So Invasion of Kamigawa. So now they've got 2 invasions, and this is where like the battles become a little bit awkward in that like they have to choose between attacking one or the other. So here we're just going to block this, the 3/1, and see what they do in response. We could just dispersal the 2/2. Yeah, I think I'm pretty happy to just take out that 2/2 here. And we also just get to get rid of these cards here. It's a bit risky to mill one of the white sources away, but I think it's fine. Now we could get back to Tsuko with Unseal and Acropolis. I think I'm happy to do that. Like, given we have mill 3, it's likely we hit another creature. So let's go ahead and, yeah, we get to hit Hoarding Broodlord, Tsuko. That's sweet. Now we can go ahead and just cast Tsuko and Strobe Knight, and the next turn we'll be able to cast the Hoarding Broodlord and go and get our best card. Depending on what we hit, we may want to, I was going to say we might be able to cast our own Invasion of New Phyrexia, but now we're going to have to deal with opponents. So they have no spells in hand. We can't cast Hoarding Broodlord. So I think here it's awkward because we can't cast the, so they're not going to be able to flip anything, and we can pile on one of them, so we can like block, trade, get to dispersal the next one. So we just have to make sure that this doesn't flip here. So I think I'm happy to island cycle this away just to get another land so that we can cast, yeah, actually, and now we can pile on one of these and then make a knight and also get to surveil. Skittering Surveyor in the bid, but I'm happy to draw many of the mines here. So now we can attack with the 2/2. Oh, I thought I'd cast 2 spells. No, it island cycled. So the opponent's got 4 battles. Wow, they are in blue-white battles. This is a pretty cool deck, but like again, they can trade a token and potentially flip one, but they're not going to attack there. So now we can Halo Forager and Fire's Dispersal one of these, and then hold up Meeting of the Minds, and we get to make a knight. So this is I like this line here. I'm going to go ahead and pay X equals 3 here. I could also unseal, but I think here we just want a dispersal. I think it's actually worth doing it to our own printing champion. We will keep the invasion on top because Hoarding Broodlord can go and get a planes to be able to cast that. So we go ahead and make a knight. Say go, and we can cast Meeting of Minds on that end step. And then we can Hoarding Broodlord. Okay, so Invasion of New Phyrexia. Now we're not going to get to Meeting of the Minds. I think they've got to bounce the 2/2 here. The 5th battle. Crazy. This is sweet. They're invading Dominaria, Xerix, Kamigawa, New Phyrexia, Belanon, all of them at once. So they're going in. I think with us drawing the invasion, it's sort of awkward because we don't actually really want to trade this down because it allows us to cast the Broodlord, but with Preening Champion and Meeting of the Minds, I think it's fine. We'll let them hit it for 2 because it's worth, like, this goes to 4. They have 1 left. We're casting 2 spells next turn, so that one is a good one. Let's go ahead and Preening Champion. I think we just want to champion first. Then we can use the 1/1 to cast this. So Dispersal is sweet. Go ahead and bash them. This becomes a 3/3. Okay. So we're going to have 2 3/3s attacking, but opponent has seen the writing on the wall there. That's another sweet win, and I will see you for going for win number 6. Alrighty, welcome back for game number 7, and we've got a keep here. Something to note as well is I actually had another look at the deck in between rounds, and I've swapped out the Tidal Terror in exchange for the 3rd Artistic Refusal. I just think upon reflection that the Refusal is just has such a high upside that it's worth playing it over the clunkier creature, and we have enough early drops to be able to sort of consistently convoke it a little bit more. So not sure if that's correct, but just sort of wanted to see, you know, what it was like to play with triple Artistic Refusal in the deck. Got a good draw here with Tetsuko. Atris is a good one, and Halo Forage is also good. Here I think I'm just going to run out the Forager. We're not going to get full value off it here, but we do have the Unsealed Necropolis, so it can just trade for the Streetwise Negotiator, and then we can get it back. So I'm pretty happy with that trade here, and just not get ourselves under pressure in the early game. So now that they've got the 3/1, we can play a Triss Oracle of Half-Truths and draw some cards, and then we'll be able to hold up Artistic Refusal after that. So pretty happy with that. Let's go ahead and give the opponent the choice. We're basically, as always, we have been take the 2-card pile here. Just don't want to, you know, only get a 1-for-1 and let opponent try and level us or something like that. So yeah, now, I mean, we can, like, I'd almost want to trade the Triss and then we can unseal. So now the face-up pile is pile on, and the 2 cards is face down. I think here we should just take the 2 cards face down. Yeah, so like we get the land, and we get a powerful spell in Phyrexian Gargantua. Now with Gargantua, I think there's potentially some merit here in trading. If they put the backup counter here, I think I may trade a Triss for the Thespian. Yeah, I'm pretty happy to do this. Like, ooh, so a bit of server issues here. Not sure exactly what's happened. I will resume the recording once we've figured out these server issues. Alrighty, so back there, I just missed us blocking there and trading. So now we're going to go ahead and pass the turn. No attacks, because we can, end step we're going to either be unsealing the Necropolis, or, you know, we're going to cast Artistic Refusal on something here. So not sure exactly what happened with the server there, but we're still in fine shape. We didn't miss anything, so it's absolutely fine. So here comes Ravenous Sailback. So they can either make it have haste until end of turn and destroy. Yeah, and I think that's going to be worth just countering that one here, because now next turn we can play Phyrexian Gargantua, draw some cards, stabilize, and we have another 2 of our Artistic Refusals in the deck as well. Opponent's going to get in. We're going to go ahead and play our Gargantua. Final Flourish is a fantastic draw because it allows us to, we can sack the Surveyor, we can get it back when we unseal the Necropolis, we can get Halo Forager. It's a cheap card to recur. Opponent's got their own one here. Probably going to go ahead and get Streetwise Negotiator And yeah, the sailback. This is all fine. Now, they'll probably put the counter here. And I'll pretty happily just trade here, given we have the Unsealed Necropolis here. Let's go ahead and block. Still encountering a little bit of lag here, but that's fine. Okay, and so now I've got Invasion of New Phyrexia. I think we just want to go ahead and cast this for 5. Although, will that make it easy to flip it, or... I'm just thinking, can we set up a turn where it's a little bit easier to flip this thing that turn? Although we are going to be able to kill next turn, so I think we just want to run this out for 5. Just an absolutely awesome card. We get 10 power and toughness and vigilance. And the server has gone bust again. Bear with me while I fix this one more time. Alrighty, managed to fix it one more time, and we will just get in with the Tsuko. We'll happily trade a knight for the 2-2. And this just means we only need to get 2 of these through next turn in order to flip. So we can draw 2 cards, then discard 2, pump our knights. We can tap creatures we control to shuffle. Permanents away. So yeah, I mean, Teferi is just very, very strong. So now they've got the Etherblade Agent. And Cosmic Hunger to take out Setsuko. I think this is all completely fine. We're just going to go ahead and flip the battle here to get Teferi. They can block. So yeah, Invasion of New Phyrexia effectively killed their 2 creatures, gives us a Planeswalker and 6 power and toughness over 3 bodies, all vigilance. And now I think we just want to draw 2 cards here. We can discard the Surveyor, play Invasion of Amonkhet, and play Anazumi Freewheeler here. Just grinding opponent down with absolute raw card advantage here. And I think it's worth playing the Nazumi Freewheeler. Wouldn't be surprised if opponent just conceded soon, but looks like they're in to play the game out. Next turn we're going to, I think, create an emblem unless they play something very strong. This opponent's at 15. We've got 7 cards in library, so we do need to stop milling. We can go and get Halo Forager, although this mills as well, so we may not actually want to do that. So we've gone and got a land. It's interesting they didn't play the battle there. I think we probably want to go and get Halo Forager and use it to pile on the... I mean, they're going to have the 2-2 regardless, so I think we can go ahead and... Let's see, we have 9 mana. We can flip this with life. It'll flip the battle and then attack them, and we can return the Nazumi Informant, I think, as well. Yeah, I like this line. Pay the life. Flip. Go ahead and get Nazumi Informant, just so that they either have to discard the Sailback, which is fantastic, or they get their last card in hand here. So now I think we just pump the Knights and start getting in here. I don't think we need to Final Flourish the creature to get the damage in here, so we're going to get a 4/4. It's going to come in as anything. I think we just want it to come in as probably Xeric Strobe Knight, actually. We don't really want to draw anything here, and I think I'm just going to hold the Skyclave Aerialist in case they have a Wrath. Although, does it put them dead on... No, they're already dead on board. So yeah, I think we can just say go here. And now, Invasion of Fiora. So they do have the Wrath. That is a good one. Destroy all legendary and non-legendary creatures. So they are going to get to take us here. So we're going to need to rebuild a board presence here. I think we actually might need to go ahead and... That resolves. We may need to unseal an Acropolis here. So we mill 3. We have 3 left. We can go and get Etherblade Agent and Halo Forager. Or Nezumi Informant. Yeah, I think we need to. We need to get the creatures on the battlefield here to be able to kill them. I think we do want Nezumi and Hoarding Broodlord's fantastic, actually. Yeah, I think we just take that and the Informant to get the last card out of the library. So now, play the land, play Informant. We have 7, 8 mana here. We can run this out and still cast the Broodlord as well. We got their creature on out of there, and then we just go ahead and pay this. Also, we have to exile the card. Oh wow. I think we just killed ourselves here. I thought we'd be able to search for 0 because normally with the search effects you can actually just you can choose not to pick something. Like if it's like search a library for a land, you can just submit 0. But there, for some reason, it wouldn't let me submit 0, and I think we're going to lose the game because of it here. So we can't flip anything here. Opponent's at 12, so yeah, I think we just lose this one. So that's going to be the loss there. We are going to lose this match, and I'll fix the server and come back for the next one. Alrighty, back for game number 8. This time we'll be trying not to mill ourselves out. Got a sweet hand here with the Informant into the Strobe Knight and with Refusal as well. So ideally, you know, we draw another land here and we'll be able to hold up Refusal on turn 4, which is great. And then we've also got the Invasion of New Phyrexia, so hopefully we can hit our white source and get to cast this as well. Opponent hasn't. There's the white source. Just going to hold the invasion. This card is much better. The more you can pay for it. So we don't want to just run it out here for like one night and try and flip it. It's more about getting the huge board presence. So opponent's got Fairy Mastermind, which is an awesome one as well. We're going to get in for a point of damage here, and then just play Xeric Strobe Knight. Now next turn, we'll be able to attack in. I think though if they... Yeah, they're not going to attack here. Okay, so now we can play... I think we just attack with just the 2/2 here. They can block. And I'm pretty happy with that trade. This card is like... It just means they're going to draw a ton of creatures and a ton of cards, sorry, and while we get the cards, they get the additional cards. And okay, opponent was just stuck on 2 lands there. That's a free win for us, and I'll see you for the trophy match in the next one. Alrighty, great hand here for the trophy on the play. We've got Printing Champion into Invasion and Dispersal as well, so I think you want to play the Champion before you play the Invasion here, because it allows you to attack the Invasion the turn you play it and really pressure it. Whereas if you play Invasion first, your opponent knows about it and they're going to play a certain way to defend it. Whereas now, like, opponent might attack with that 2/2 because they can get 2 points of damage in, and our 1/1 might be able to get in. And so next time we're going to be able to go Invasion and hold up Dispersal, and then I think the turn after that we'll just hold up Refusal See here, we're obviously not blocking. This card really lacks just by not being a knight in the blue-white knights deck. Just screams to want to be one. They've got the 3/3 here. We're going to just go ahead, and it constantly wants to tap the wrong mana and shut us out of dispersal, but we're not going to let that happen. Wow, so both of us have the Invasion of New Phyrexia there. They have to discard. We get to draw a card. Did we mill any creatures? So no creatures have actually been milled. So we're actually going to... I mean, it's potential that we just want to let it come in as a 4/4 anyway. It doesn't need to be a clone to be amazing. Especially when opponent's running out creatures like this. So now they're going to get in. We're going to dispersal. No considerations here to putting these in the bin, because I think next turn we're probably just going to hold up refusal. I wonder if we just want... I think we want both of these cards. I think we want the free... We just want to make sure we get the Gargantua, because there are a few cards that do... There are a few cards in the set that do mill, and so I just definitely want to get this into my hand. And then no blocks here. And the next turn we can just hold up refusal. And then the turn after that we can flip the Invasion of Amonkhet. There is actually consideration there, I think, to putting the Gargantua in the bin. Just to get... we can always discard one of these creatures into the bin, actually, to the refusal. But yeah, there's consideration to putting Gargantua into the graveyard there, so that we can have it come in as a copy and draw us cards. But here I think we're going to have the choice now of refusaling something and then putting it in the bin, or putting the Freewheeler in the bin if we want to. Also, putting Freewheeler, I think we don't have the lands necessarily yet to cast this, so I think potentially we should have just put the Gargantua in, or put the Freewheeler in the bin to draw lands. So opponents considering what they're doing here. I think it's pretty obvious that we've got the artistic refusal here. The problem for opponent though is if they ship the turn, we can just we can Final Flourish the 3/4, have our Invasion come in as a copy of it, stun something. So that seems pretty good. Opponent's jamming here, so we're not going to block. Going to take 5. Opponent's at 26. There's also consideration, I think, here to drawing off the refusal. 6 mana to just draw 2, and effectively for 2 cards at a hand. But yeah, no, we're just going to go ahead and counter this. Opponents, it's such a tough spot. Like, it's so obvious here we have refusal, but the opponent has to know that we're going to hold it, and there's not really much they can do if we do that. So now I think we go ahead and we pitch the Gargantua so that we can have a printing champion come in as a copy of it. So we've drawn the land. Let's go ahead and just attack this. Now I've got refusal up as well to counter if they've got a dispersal. Okay. So we could counter this, get the 4/4, draw 2. I think our other option is to just play Rat, play Printing Champion, and we don't have enough for artistic refusal in that instance. Yeah, I think I'm actually just going to go ahead and counter this here. The 4/4 is pretty big. It's a big tempo swing. We've already binned our Invasion of New Phyrexia here, so I think we can just go ahead and pitch the Tranquil Cove. Go ahead and flip this. The 4/4 body on the battlefield is massive. Comes in as Gargantua. And we draw 2. So yeah, now next turn we can go Nezumi Informant, Final Flourish, Skyclave Specialist. They have to deal with that 4/4. If they deal with that, they probably won't have many good. Oh my god, they've got 2 Invasions of New Phyrexia. That is insane. Wow, that's pretty awesome. So I think I'm in a bit of disbelief here, but we're just going to need to protect this at all costs. So we're going to want to be able to cast the Final Flourish this turn. We also want to be able to play out the Nezumi Informant to get the last card out of their hand. So I think we just play Informant, Skyclave, and then hold Final Flourish. Gives us a lot of blockers to prevent this from flipping. We can Final Flourish the 3/4 here. We get the last card out of their hand, and if they don't go in for an all-in attack, we can set up with the Freewheeler next turn. So opponent probably has another Invasion of New Phyrexia in their hand. That is absolutely sick to have 2 of that card. Okay, so Meeting of the Minds here. They're going to draw 2 to discard 1 of them. So we don't get the last card, we get a counterspell out of their hand. And then we just play this as a blocker. So we've got decent blocks this turn. No attacks. We can block the 3/4, we can trade for some of the 2/2s, we can double block 1. Alternatively, yeah. So Final Protocol Knight's a sick one here. So they're going to put the stun counter on that. And now we have to work out how we're blocking here. So I think we're going to need to chump a knight and then Final Flourish. So if we block here, block this. The question is, do we want to chump here? Puts it to 2. Because this way we just chump 1 and we have another chump next turn for the 3/4. I think I like this. They get through with the... Get to do 2. We cast Final Flourish targeting this. Sacking the Informant. All of this trades off. Invasion goes to 2. They got a lot of creatures on the battlefield here, so... Okay, that was a good draw. Because now we can Xeric Strobe Knight. They're going to get to flip. So if they swing out here, we can play the Freewheeler. Can we flip it and play the Freewheeler? No. So we can play Final Flourish. Play Dispersal. Because we can play these 2. We have 3 blockers. Depending on how they attack, we can let this flip and just potentially kill. Because Halo Forge is just going to kill the 4/4. These would then block, eat the 2/2. And then we'd be able to get in with the Nezumi Freewheeler. Tough spot here, I think. I think we definitely just want to play the knight. And I think we want to play this and kill the 3/4 here. The question will just be, how do we actually block here? Depending on how they attack. So we're going to go ahead and Final Flourish. Killing the 3/4. Though we could just kill... I think actually we just kill a 2/2 here. Because now we can trade and prevent it from flipping. So opponent can swing out here. And we can prevent it from flipping by trading our flyers for Teferi for the knights, chumping the 3/4. The other question is, do we actually care that much about this flipping? So it draws 2, then you discard 2 cards unless you discard a creature. You can tap X untapped creatures and shuffle something back. Another protocol knight. So they're going to get to flip. Like if they want to flip now, they get to flip it. So we're just going to have to work out now how we deal with it. There's no point chumping here and trading, so we just let this occur. Now opponent can shuffle Halo Forager back. They can shuffle Xeric Strobe Knight back. I think they're probably, if they shuffle the Strobe Knight back though, we just kill it. So I think they kind of have to draw here. Yeah, it's an interesting spot. And then we can Nezumi Freewheeler and get a creature back as well next. Like if we draw a land, we can get a 2-drop back. So we can go and get probably get the Skyclave Aerialist over the Nezumi Informant. Tight game, the double invasion. One of the most absurd things I've ever seen. So they're going to give all their knights +1/+0. Okay. Well, we're going to have to kill the informant here. So I think we want to tap like this. Hoarding Broodlord, that's a bummer to get in there. So we kill Teferi. And now I've got the 4/4s are a big problem to deal with here. So I have to wait to see how they attack, because we can eat the 3/3. Trade the 3/3 and the 1/1 for it, but having this on as a 4/5 is like really good. So we might actually, like if they swing out here, it would have been really good to be able to flip this. If like we had drawn a land instead of the refusal, we would have been able to flip this, get another 2/2 to trade for a 3/2, and they wouldn't have had good blocks because we would have eaten a knight and been in a much better position. Wow. Okay, so we need to counter that, but if we counter it, we die. I think we die if we don't counter it. Maybe we shouldn't have actually killed Teferi, but I just don't think I could have predicted that they had Broodbringer about Valkyrie here. So if we tap this, we draw 2. I mean, we just take 10 if they just attack, but we don't have another like way to win this game, I don't think, if we don't do this. So I think we just have to pray that they don't see the very, very obvious attack. So I think it's pretty unlikely here. Yeah. So we block one of the 4/4s, we take 10. Can't beat the double Invasion of New Phyrexia and Boombringer Valkyrie deck, but still a pretty sweet deck to go 6-3 with. We'll just take one last look at the deck, but thanks very much for watching if you've made it all the way through the end. As always, if you liked the video, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you like this type of content and want to see more, and leave a comment below if you would have done anything differently. Sweet deck here with Hoarding Broodlord, Atris, Invasion of New Phyrexia, as well as an Invasion, Pylon, and triple Artistic Refusal. So certainly subscribe to see more decks like this, and I'll see you in the next video.